Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. My name is Siobhan, and in today's pick a card style reading, we are going to be looking at concepts of the multiverse. So Spirit has been bringing through these messages to me, and they've kind of been teaching me about how you can connect to these other quantum realities or these other parallel universes where different aspects of yourself or different versions of you exist. And the reason I think that this is important and I want to do this reading is because it can help us to embody those characteristics in this present universe, in this present version of us. So we can draw on all of these infinite skills, talents, abilities, awareness, embodiments of self that are in alignment with who we're meant to be in this lifetime, in this timeline, in this incarnation. And so I really want to get as much information as we can for you about other aspects of yourself that are available for you to connect to and how to do that. So we've got three groups as usual today. Group number 1 is the rocket ship. Group 2 is the bicycle, and group number 3 is the compass. So select the group or groups that you feel called to, use the timestamps below, and jump ahead to your reading. If you feel called to more than one, that's fine. Maybe you're even called to all of them. That's cool too. Just take the messages from within the readings that feel like they are for you. If something resonates, if something hits deep, you feel it in your bones, you get a little nudge from Spirit that it's for you, then take it. If it doesn't feel like it's for you, don't try to force it. These are general readings. All right, guys, we'll see you in your readings. Hi, group number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the rocket ship. So I feel like you guys are blasting off or you're launching into a higher timeline. That's just like right away what I'm getting very strongly in my face energetically. It's like you are about to shift significantly from one state of being to another. And the reason why Spirit has drawn you to this reading and gave you that little nudge to click on this video and this particular reading within the video is because you're going to get some information, some activation, and they're telling me actually you're going to get some codes. It's like launch codes. Oh, right, because it's a space shuttle. That makes sense. So you're getting launch codes from me. I'm a code activator. I'm a catalyst. I'm a decoder as well. So I'm going to help you guys with that. So we're going to find out some information about this alternate multiverse version of you and how you can connect to that, why you need to connect to that, and how that is going to launch you into this new stage of your life. Okay, so we have the Page of Cups starting us out. I feel like you are going to be learning something from this version of you that's in the multiverse. Because here's the thing. There are infinite universes. There are infinite parallel realities. There are infinite versions of us. This is what Spirit's been teaching me. And from that, we can connect to those aspects because we might be physically separated from them, but we're not separated at the consciousness level, especially when we have awareness of it. So we can connect because that's still us. It's just us in a different timeline or us in a different reality. And so we can kind of like merge our energy with that version of us. And in doing so, we take on those skills or we learn those lessons or we resolve those karmic conflicts or whatever it is. So I feel like you're going to be learning something artistic from this version of you that's in a parallel reality. Maybe it's a skill that you've wanted to have artistically. I'm seeing you being open to kind of almost like absorbing, getting a lot of empathy, like you're absorbing the emotional information that you need to be able to apply this new skill or to use this new skill or to take what you already know and put it together in a way that's a little bit different, like that you wouldn't have known how to do, if that's making sense. But I want more information. So 10 of Cups. Maybe this is even emotional healing. I mean, at first I was getting the message about the art, and I think that's still relevant here. But now I'm also seeing a message about emotional healing by connecting to an alternate version of you that has this like dream life, this happily ever after scenario that they are currently living out or that they are on that timeline trajectory to achieve. And so what you're doing in this present incarnation, in this multiverse universe, you're able to connect. I'm hearing clairvoyantly. Okay, so for some of you, yeah, that's very artistic energy, clairvoyance. So you're able to connect at the third eye telepathically or through your consciousness or through your mental body. Yeah, they're telling me astral projection could be part of this as well. Or astral connection, actually. They corrected me. Astral connection, not projection. Okay. From there, you're able to embody this higher timeline, this higher embodiment of yourself that you can achieve is what they're telling me. Yeah, Spirit's like, you can achieve this. You just need to be able to connect to that emotional experience. It's like going to an alternate timeline on vacation, so to speak, and then being able to retain the peace that you achieved from that vacation and change your lifestyle back home. It's that kind of vibe. Look at all of the emotions here. Oh my God, all cups cards, cups. That's a reference from Sleeping Beauty, the fairy godmothers when they're trying to make her a birthday cake. So this could be something to do with like, yeah, something to do with a birth. We do have children here. Like if you're wanting to have a family, this could be the alternate timeline that you're connecting to. I mean, I was interpreting it as artistic, but it could also be creative in the sense that like physically having a family and having the emotional know-how of how to do that, how to meet the person, how to connect to them, how to achieve happiness is what it feels like. Isn't that what we're all here doing, right? Isn't that what we're all trying to figure out? The key to happiness? Well, I feel like you guys are going to get that. And that's why you're launching so fast and so far, so quickly, because you're ascending to a completely different timeline where, yeah, they're showing me 5D. So this is a new Earth timeline in this parallel reality that you're going to be stepping into, that you are stepping into. They're telling me you've already taken some steps, but there's some additional work to be done. You need to anchor to that timeline. So if you've been like going to that timeline on vacation, maybe certain days you feel happier. Yeah, and you're able to feel the noticeable shift, but then you kind of come back down. This is the anchor point. The Four of Pentacles is the anchor point to get you stable and connected to that higher timeline, to that parallel reality, and then to converge with it, like timeline merging, astral connection to that part of you, to that potential is kind of what it feels like, to that potential timeline. And I don't still fully understand the difference between timelines and parallel realities. Spirit tells me that they're similar, or that there's like a lot of overlap between those two. So maybe I'll do a separate video on that. I don't kind of want to go into too much of that today. The point is more like why you're anchoring to that reality and how to do it. So let's ask how to do it. Ace of Wands, creativity. I knew that creativity was going to be part of this. I knew it. Passion, creativity, fire, inspiration. What makes you feel good? Joy. I think that's going to be like the defining factor in anchoring to this parallel reality timeline and stabilizing it, like really sinking your feet into that timeline and then not coming back down again. Definitely. I'm going to stand by my initial channeled message about the creative aspect of this, the artistic aspect of this. I think group number one, you are very artistic and you are meant to launch something here. You're meant to really take off with your artistic expression. So this could be going from a beginner to a pro really quickly. Again, because you're able to connect to this parallel reality where you've already mastered this skill. So people might look from the outside and go, how did you get so good at this so fast? Oh, you just must be naturally talented. And it's like, well, yeah, you are, but it's because it's this alternate version of you that's already lived out all of this experience. And all you're doing is kind of like downloading that into your version of the matrix. You know what I mean? And then in that, you're shifting the physical matrix around you, because as you embody, so shall you create an experience. It's kind of like giving me Neo when he's like outside of the matrix and he's downloading how to do Kung Fu and stuff like that. He's like, I know Kung Fu. So I feel like you guys are going to be downloading these skills around like how to majorly up-level your craft, like astronomically. Five of Swords. Okay. They're telling me get this one as well. It goes with it. Four of Cups. Okay. Those two are meant to be read together, so I'm going to leave them like that. Ace of Pentacles on the bottom. Let me put that here for now, just for shits and gigs. So these two are confounding. I'm like, why? Why are you here, Five of Swords? Why are you here, Four of Cups? All this positivity. Oh, this is the old timeline. Right. Okay, that makes sense. So this is the old timeline, group number one, where you have been on, they're telling me death's door. That's not at all, like, I don't think that's literal. I just think that you felt like you were stuck or trapped or there was no way out. No, they keep telling me knocking on death's door. Like, why were you knocking on death's door, group number 1? They're showing me that you were stuck in a loop. Oh, true death is stagnation, they're telling me. Oh, that's the only true death, because every other death is a doorway into rebirth. So the only true death is stagnation. The only true death is staying in a cycle and not progressing, not evolving. Right. If we're immortal beings, if we're infinite souls, and we exist in an infinite multiverse, the only true death is to stay still. Holy shit. You know, I love doing these readings because I learn so much as I'm channeling and as Spirit's bringing through these messages. It's, yeah. So I actually do feel those 2 cards off the top. This is my new Synchronicities Oracle deck. It's available for pre-order. I gotta shamelessly plug myself, guys, because Spirit has been egging me on to use this deck and to promote it. They want it out there. It's highly coded to help activate you to synchronicities and being able to see the connections from Spirit and read symbolism. So it will up-level your consciousness, not just give you messages. Okay, I think there's more. Oh my gosh, there's so many messages. Right. Follow the thread. You have the red yarn, the wool. I feel like you are pulling the wool off of your eyes, group number 1. I almost said group number 3, and I just got this weird energy run through me. Hold on, I need to ground. I haven't done group 3's reading yet, but I feel like it's going to be super powerful, because right before I did this reading, I was watching someone else's reading, and the last thing that they said was something about like a compass. And I was like, oh, that's the significator for group 3. That seems relevant. So something about that. But I feel like you're finding your way out of a loop. You see how it was like there's a loop and there's a loop. You may have been caught in a loop and you didn't see a way out, or your soul was kind of just, yeah, cycling, stagnant. You're breaking out of it because you're connecting to this multiverse version of you that's already done it. So it's like if they've already done it, you can do it, because you're the same being, just in different alternate realities. Does that make sense? Probably not, but just go with me here. So we've got the red wine as well. I do feel red is significant. That's root chakra, connects to the blood as well. So it could have been a bloodline thing that you were caught in. Yeah, bloodline karma, family karma. But you're getting out of it because this alternate version of you is free. And so if they are free, you can be free too. If there's Irish bloodline, this will be even more of a confirmation. I know it is for me, because I do have that. So anyways, but you have the 4-leaf clover. So I feel like you're getting a lot of good luck here. And I heard good luck on your quest. Okay, so good luck on your quest to be able to shift. Got the cassette tape. 90s, 80s, 90s could be significant. Those could have been timelines where the looping began. Yeah, that's where the stuckness started. But it's like you're rewinding the tape and you're able to, it's like you're starting fresh, or you're like using it in a different way, or you're moving forward. Hold on, let me get the rest out here. Yeah, look, you're undoing the karmic knot. You're undoing the karmic knot. You're unraveling it and getting yourself out of the loop in a good way. The bar stool. Oh, my throat just got a little bit tricky there. Something about being on a pedestal. Your father may have put your mother on a pedestal. That is such a random message. I don't think that's going to be for everyone, but that's coming through and I have to say it. When channeled messages come through, if I don't say them, I kind of hit a wall. So I have to relay it and then keep moving. Speaking of walls, here you have a gateway. Okay, so, I mean, it's not a wall. It's the opposite. You're moving into this new timeline. It's like a portal, right? But gateways are like huge portals. It's like being able to move from one very significantly different place to another. And the soap bubbles, which always reminds me of the multiverse, because that's how I picture it in my head, like the universe being a bubble and then all of these other bubbles as well. I don't know how that actually is, but that's kind of what I always picture it as. Okay, so I'm really curious as to, because we've gotten some information about the higher timeline and what you're going to be embodying through that. And we're seeing here some information about how you're undoing the karmic knot, how you are stepping into luck. And luck is alignment. I've said it so many times, I'll say it again. Luck is spiritual alignment. You manifest luck through being spiritually in integrity, basically. And it's by undoing these karmic ties, by getting out of the reversal loops, by moving through higher timeline gateways, by keeping your energy clean as well, by seeing from a higher perspective. I'm getting that message randomly from the bar stool as well. It's like putting yourself up on that stool so you can take a better look around. I also feel like you're meant to be elevated. You're meant to be elevated in this creative position, group number 1. So that's what I mean. I think you're going to go from a quote unquote beginner to an expert very quickly, and it will elevate your status, or other people will put you on pedestals. Okay, so this is the archetype deck. I'm curious to see what we've got here. You've got the Exorcist. Whoa. And it came out reversed. So that's the shadow attribute, fear of facing your own demons. The light attribute is freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. So I think that this is something that you're able to do. He's very shamanic here. Like, look at this man here. So you are going to be doing some deep purging. I'm hearing existential crisis that leads to a massive breakthrough. Okay, that's word for word from Spirit. Existential crisis that leads to a massive breakthrough. And it's to do with your emotions, to do with creativity, and to do with family. Yeah, I'm hearing sense of purpose as well. But I'm seeing you like facing these demons, group number 1. That's really intense. You're facing these demons and you're cleansing yourself. Completely cleansing yourself. From the inside out, from the bloodline trauma or the bloodline karma, completely cleansed. Ooh, yeah, no way. Yeah, it's destroy your energy. Goddess Pele, for some of you, I know there's at least one person here that's for. The light attribute is releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for a new life. This is what I'm saying. You're preparing for an entirely new life, group number 1. And then the shadow attribute is intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. So I'm seeing you getting into alignment and this expanding your luck and moving you out of this time loop because you are destroying the demons. They keep telling me that. You're destroying the demons. I'm feeling like dark feminine or dark masculine energy, but not shadow dark. There's a difference. The shadow side is like the repressed version of it that gets distorted. The dark side of it is like the, I guess like the more powerful, aggressive side, but like for good reason. Yeah, so big, powerful transmutation work that you're doing here. And I think this is going to be probably an emotional process, okay? Like I'm not going to sugarcoat. It's going to be an emotional process. You've got the Hermit, so you might need to spend some time alone, seeking solitude to focus intently on inner life, which serves personal creativity. I think that's where this whole creativity thing is coming into play. The shadow attribute withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgment of others, refusing to help those in need. I'm hearing that you're going to help yourself, group number 1, to get free. Look at that. He's in this home that is too small for him. And I keep getting this message that there may be things in the family line that were keeping you stuck or small or stagnant. So things to do with your family. Doesn't have to be just your mother and father, brothers and sisters. It can be like your entire bloodline, all the way back to in your ancestry, in your history. There's like many karmic knots that I've seen. Actually, you've been undoing a lot of them, group number 1, which is probably if you've been spending a lot of time alone and you've been doing a lot of introspection. That's why, is because you've been doing this process consciously or unconsciously. I think for a lot of you, it was very conscious and intentional. But it's painful, you know, it's hard to face our demons like that, but I'm seeing it being very productive in your growth and the achievement and of these goals creatively and, you know, within your family, within like a healthier version of family for yourself, or a family that you might want to create just for you. But I'm seeing you anchoring to this higher timeline for sure. Child nature, friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. Shadow side is tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. Especially if there was abuse in your family, okay? This is getting a little bit heavy, but we need to address these topics because without addressing the shadow, without addressing the darkness, we cannot rise into the light. So I'm seeing you guys really shifting from this old wounded archetype and being able to connect back to your authenticity, which unlocks your creative potential. And you're tapping into this alternate reality version of you that they have overcome these struggles. They have freed themselves from these demons. They have fought them and they have won. And that is that leads to the happily ever after that you deserve in every timeline. God is on your side. Wow. Light attribute, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Shadow attribute, despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. You may have had a controlling parent, group number 1. Just take that if that resonates. It is a message that's coming through. God, Mother, Father, God is usually really embodied archetypally through our parents. How our relationship with God is shaped first by the relationship we have with our parents, which also shapes our relationship with self. So I see you doing a lot of unpacking with your inner child, exercising these demons, destroying the darkness, or should I say transmuting it, and stepping into this recognition of the eternal force. The God consciousness is this multi-dimensional aspect of you. It's these multiverse versions of you that exist in every layer of reality. So it's like, this is what people mean when they say we're one. Like you guys who are OGs here on the channel, you know this. So I feel like you're connecting to these unified principles of self, unified consciousness of self by basically merging all of these multiverse aspects together and compiling all the best parts into this rocket fuel that launches you up into these higher timelines and firmly anchors you there. You're planting your roots there, is what Spirit just said. You have the mediator on the bottom of the deck, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. The shadow side is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. I feel like you may have been the mediator in your family, group number 1. You know, like the lightning rod, or trying to bring peace to conflicts, possibly between the parents, but I don't know. I'm just getting this feeling of like you're always the one trying to be the peacemaker. And there may have been a lot of self-repression that came from that. Meditate and contemplate. Okay, this is the recommendation. This is like the prescription from Spirit to access this higher timeline, to integrate this multi-dimensional version of you, to access or to get onto that happily ever after potential. Meditating and contemplating is going to be helpful because it's going to help you see what's there, what's below the surface. So pay attention to how you're feeling, what's coming up, what your triggers are. Triggers are so good. Like sometimes in like the wider society, when people don't know how to do shadow work, triggers are seen as a bad thing. No, I love triggers. I hate them, but I love them. You know, it's like, I don't enjoy being triggered, but I'm always thankful that I was, because it shows me information about things that I haven't resolved yet. And if I didn't have that trigger come up, I would not be free from that pain or that demon or that trauma or whatever it was, that wound. I would not be able to resolve it if I didn't get triggered. So thank you to people who trigger me. That's not an invitation, by the way. But like in the bigger scheme of things, it helps. It helps a lot. If you can have the courage, the bravery, and the strength to be able to face that trigger, to do the emotional work. Yes. A win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. I'm seeing Libra is the sign about relationships. So I feel a heavy emphasis here on relationships, relationship with self, with God, with parents, with your inner child, with your shadow and light side. So, it's all about balance. Your relationships with other people, love, romance, possibly siblings, like literally your relationship with everyone and everything, including these multiverse versions of you. I got this message that came through earlier. It was like, I hope my alternate version of me is doing okay. I feel like that's your energy group number 1. You're just so loving and compassionate. That's like that lightning rod, being the mediator, wanting to have balance all the time, and then kind of putting yourself last to try and appease others. But that really put you into this loop of being disconnected from yourself. And if you're disconnected from yourself, then you're not embodying your God consciousness. Because God consciousness is unity consciousness. It's not separation, it's connection. So I'm getting you coming home to yourself in a big way. I mean, bigger than you ever have before, group number 1. And from that, I think that's really the catalyst, is what I want to say. The catalyst for these skills, these talents, these abilities, this confidence, this self-expression, the desire to go after what you want, what you dream of. That's really strongly coming through. Surrender to the divine. Yeah. Surrender to the divine. Full moon energy. Group number 1. Surrender to the divine and hold your vision. I see you have a creative vision. And you're powerful. You're a powerful creator. Okay, I feel those two as well. Believe in the impossible. Blue moon. Once in a blue moon. This is a once in a blue moon opportunity, group number 1, that you're going to be able to shift timelines, like seriously shift timelines, and quantum leap in a big, big way. Your hard work is paying off. I was getting that. I feel like this is not your first rodeo, group number 1. Like, you've done this before. You've been around the block. A lot of you are probably, original spiritual OGs. You've been doing this work for years. You know how to shadow work. You know how to quantum shift. You know how to manifest. And for those of you who are new to this process, stick around, because you're going to learn. You're going to learn today. No, but like, you will learn. Just absorb it through osmosis. But the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. You will learn. You will have the answers. You'll get these access points, these activations, these catalysts of consciousness that are going to help you to level up whichever camp you happen to fall in. Experienced or new, doesn't matter. We're all on the same trajectory here of being in alignment with our highest expression and being free. I think that's ultimately the end game here, is to be fully free and autonomous in God's sovereignty. Fully free, God's sovereignty. So I feel this happily ever after is in the cards for you, group number 1. Literally, it's on the table. This is in the cards for you. But the thing you need to do now, okay, so like actionable steps, meditate. I know sometimes we just don't want to hear that, like, screw that. I really don't want to just sit down and be with my thoughts. But this is what's going to help to destroy these ghosts from your past, these skeletons in the closet, these demons and boogeymen under the bed that need to be faced to be able to raise your frequency up. Because if you got stuff in the back closet, that can't come with you up into that higher timeline. If anything, it's keeping you anchored to the old timeline, to the old reality. So you got to let that stuff go. You got to surrender to this process. Got to do this inner work. The alchemy, they said, alchemy. And it will be a win-win. So you're going to benefit, your bloodline's going to benefit, the world's probably going to benefit because it's all collective, right? We're all one. But even, through your leadership, through your creative expression, through your happiness, the world benefits from that too. So invest now, Ace of Pentacles, invest now in grounding, connecting, taking some time to be still and just to think. And know that what you have invested in the past is also what has built the momentum for this. Like, it built the rocket ship. And now all you're doing is just filling the tank with that jet fuel. And then it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Okay, so for now, just get that jet fuel really gassed up. Like get that gas in the tank through meditation, contemplation, releasing, surrendering, purging, holding of the vision, being intentional with what you're doing, listening for the answers. Your spirit guides are really strong here, group number 1. They are really like present. I don't know how else to say it. They're right there. I can see them. I can feel them. Hundreds of them. They're right there. Each of you has like minimum 3 standing right beside you. So listen to them in whatever way you have a unique dialogue with them. Okay, so maybe it's through symbolism, maybe it's through feeling, maybe it's through thought, maybe it is through scripting, or whatever it is for you. It's different for each person, but cultivate that relationship, because that's a relationship that's really going to help. And then, yeah, you're going to launch. Maybe even literally launching something creatively, but definitely launching into this higher timeline. All right, group number, oh, hold on, before you go. I'm called to these. Okay, so we're going to do the Astro Dice. The South Node. Yeah, South Node. So this is past. Exercising the past. You have Sagittarius, past beliefs, past fears, past religious traditions in your family line. You're going to be really integrating and expanding on those. And you have the 6th house. So it could be to do with your daily routine, your work schedule, your habits. Really releasing anything that's not serving your personal creativity. And expanding your mind. I'm seeing you expanding your mind a lot here. I am getting to tell you, keep grounded, okay? So like grounding yourself into your body. Very important here. Especially when you're doing this high-level astral work. It might seem counterintuitive to ground in your body when you're doing astral shifting, but it actually helps because that keeps you feeling safe and grounded. And that's where you connect to God consciousness. It's when we don't feel safe that we separate from self. So, okay, yeah, so doing some past life healing, doing some family lineage healing, and all that hard work that you have done already is all leading up to this. Beautiful highest timeline. Gateway is open. So take advantage of this by meditating now, and then see what happens, see what shifts in your life. Let me know how this goes. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate you being here on the channel with me, spending time energetically in these readings. I love you so, so much. If you guys are interested in getting the Synchronicities Oracle, like I said, the pre-order is going on now. And the more people who pre-order, the faster we can get the deck printed out. Okay, so thank you for helping me to make this dream a reality and to disseminate this knowledge, wisdom, coding, and awakening into the collective. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the bicycle. So we're going to be talking about the multiverse and how to connect to these different alternate reality versions of you to be able to quantum shift into a more embodied higher expression, potentially. So you guys having chosen the bicycle, I feel like you are aligning 2 separate things. Like there's one wheel and then there's another wheel, and they're connected, and the chain needs to be on and the gears need to be all working cohesively and in congruence. And if they're not, then things don't work. Like the machine doesn't function. So there's something here about aligning these 2 different aspects of yourself, getting on the same page, being able to getting something connected. They keep showing me the bicycle chain. And I remember as a kid, like sometimes the chain would fall off and it's like you can pedal, but you don't go anywhere because there's no tension, and then there's no propelling, there's no movement of the wheels. So it's like it's all connected. So there's something here. It's like maybe you've been feeling like you've been spinning your wheels, or you've been pedaling, but it's not moving the thing forward, like your life or your progress. So let's get information. Okay, 5 of Wands. It's actually my card of the day today, just coincidentally, but really when it comes to spirit, there is no coincidence. I should know that by now. But the 5 of Wands here, I feel like for you guys, it's talking about getting things on the same page again, because I was seeing that like 2 different wheels needing to be connected and working together harmoniously. And the 5 of Wands is, well, the opposite of that. It's people not being on the same page. It's the too many cooks in the kitchen energy. It's conflict, competition, disagreement. Okay. Why? Too much heat. Okay, it's like Mars energy. I'm getting really strong Mars energy. The planet is about war, conflict, battle, but it can be passionate too. But I think that's what can spark conflict, is when we're really passionate about something and we can't kind of set that aside and we think that our way is right. It's like my way or the highway energy is honestly what I'm getting. And trust me, group number 2, you don't want to be riding on the highway on that bicycle if the chain falls off and those two wheels separate. Like, you don't want to be going fast and have things fall apart like that. So it's better to deal with this now. So doing some healing work. I'm hearing integration, the word integration. Yeah, so integrating different, I think, wounds from the past that may be triggers, or in this case, catalysts to heal some of this conflict energy within the self or with other people. Could literally be with other people, like the two wheels on the bike could be you and someone else. And I'm seeing 3, the energy of 3, right? Because there's the 3 swords, there's the 2 wheels, and then there's the chain that connects them. The chain makes 3. And I'm hearing the phrase from the Bible, or I think Jesus said this, wherever 3 or more of me are gathered, or is it 2 or more? But the way that I'm hearing it in my head is wherever 3 or more are gathered, my presence will be there, or I will be known, or something like that. There's something about stepping out of these ego attachments or triggers and being able to heal some things in the heart that kept things not functioning well. Yeah, the devil. The devil's in the details, and if the chain isn't greased and if the chain isn't linked up properly, then everything falls apart. So I'm feeling like things are falling apart for you right now, group number 2. I was gonna use past tense and say things were falling apart, and they corrected me. It came out of my mouth as are. So especially if you were drawn to this group and you're currently going through some conflict interpersonally, or you're dealing with old interpersonal contracts in your heart emotionally, or you're still kind of like going in circles with that in your mind. Yeah, they're showing me that you like pedaling, but you're not getting anywhere. Pedaling furiously, but not getting anywhere. And that's frustrating, you know? That's really frustrating. It's like being on a treadmill that doesn't really give you anything out of it. It's not like you're even, you know, it's not a workout. It's just kind of like a waste of energy. So this could be like ruminating on thoughts, things from the past. I'm almost getting that energy of like playing out arguments in your mind. Like, what would you have said in that situation? But like, it's not actually getting you further ahead. It's not giving you closure. It's just keeping you in these loops of like, I could have done better, or this person was wrong, justifying what you did or what you said, or the way that you reacted. I'm seeing those things needing to be closed out. Yeah, 6 of Swords, being able to move on. Because this is what's going to help you to get into your highest alignment. Now, the way that we're going to tie in the multiverse into this, because they're bringing me back to that, is by understanding that there's a version of you in a different parallel reality in the multiverse that won that argument, or that did it the peaceful way, or that managed to smooth things out, or that just let go very peacefully. So what we're going to do is like energetically, or what you can do on your own if you feel so called, is to energetically connect to that hypothetical, but it's actually a very real version of you out there. And they're showing me string theory. That's so random. They just started showing me how everything's connected by these little strings. And my only sort of concept of that is quantum string theory and how everything is connected. And it's like quantum entanglement, or as Einstein called it, spooky action at a distance. I always nerd out over that, and I think that's such a funny name. So I see you being able to move on because you're seeing the connection to these alternate reality versions of you and how they went about these things versus how you went about them, but realizing that you're the same person. Even if you're existing in different realities, different bodies, different points of consciousness, it's all you. It's just different sort of like splits of the soul, if we want to look at it that way. Different fractals in the diamond is what Spirit said. Yeah. Different facets, different sides of the diamond. Diamond consciousness is significant here. Wow. 3 of Wands. I'm seeing you being able to access and understand the bigger picture. And I'm seeing you like really being able to move on because you don't need to continue cycling, literally bicycling, cycling in that old loop of the mind, trying to get closure from something that you're never going to get closure from internally like that, or even from those other people. You're not going to get closure in those ways. So it's like, this is the way that you get closure. This is the way that you move on, especially if this was stuff from childhood. 6 of Cups, memories from the past. Yeah, that's what I was feeling before. They were showing me the example of someone being in the shower and having these like fake arguments of like, oh, well, you know, like this and that. And it's like, just wasting your mental energy on it. You're wasting your mental energy on it, group number 2. And that's all energy that could be put towards this breakthrough, getting to the next stage of your life, or getting to this quantum shift that you've been desiring, where you're free. You're not shackled by this devil energy of continuing to play this pantomime in the mind, shadow boxing with these people from your past. It just doesn't make sense to do that. Sorry, I bumped the camera with my toe. Playing footsie with you guys. No. Yeah, so, I mean, death, it needs to die. I'm getting closure. Like, this is the point right now, is closure. Spirit is speaking loud and clear about that. Okay, we're going to do archetypes and then synchronicities. I did it the opposite way in group 1, but I'm feeling called to that here for you, group number 2. Oh, you've got one of mine. I drew this. Please forgive my artwork. This is the fairy archetype that I created, and it's innocent, magical, gentle, helpful, kind, loving, and ethereal in the light expression. And the shadow attributes are careless, distractible, mischievous, manipulative, and indulgent. Maybe you were careless, or other people were careless with your innocence, and they hurt you. And that's why there's some attachment still to these things. Maybe you felt like people didn't understand you, maybe because you're distractible or mischievous or a little bit more indulgent than you mean to be. It's almost giving me like, yeah, impulsivity, emotional dysregulation, you know, like being reactive and not really thinking about it and then regretting it after. So maybe you're beating yourself up for things that you said to people in heated moments and you didn't mean to do that, and it's like it left this hurt for you, or the other way around, or both. I mean, we're human, right? We all go through these things. We alternate between being the perpetrator and being the victim, and the only way to get out of that loop is to forgive yourself, forgive others, and move on. And this is what I'm seeing here, is being able to see the bigger picture and realizing that all of those little squabbles don't really matter. What matters is your peace. That's it. That's all that matters. Oh, could be with a father. Light attributes, talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. Shadow attribute, dictatorial control and abuse of authority. Yeah, like fights, arguments, disagreements, different ways of seeing the world. These can be especially charged and heated when it's with people who are closest to us, people who we trust the most, or we're supposed to be able to trust the most, like our parents, our family, and our romantic partners. Those are usually the ones those are the people that can trigger us the most because we let them in and we become vulnerable. And that can be a good thing, and that can create connection when there's safety and trust, but it can also not be a good thing if that other person is not careful, if they don't handle with care, you know, themselves or you. Okay, dilettante and the magical child in reverse. Okay, so yeah, this feels like a childhood wound. We did have that come up there with the Six of Wands. Literally might as well say Six of Swords because you have that here. Now you got all the sixes. No, Six of Cups. Weird. Okay, so child magical, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. The shadow attribute, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Dilettante. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional. Alerts you to danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. The shadow attribute is pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. Okay, I'm going to get, I think, one more here. It's this one. Bully. The shadow attribute too is conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. That's the conflict and fighting and impulsivity and aggressiveness. The light attribute is highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. I feel like you're facing these inner fears, these inner bullies. Maybe it was once a father. Yeah, like when you were a child, being bullied for your sensitivity or for a different way of seeing the world. We have the athlete on the bottom. Interesting. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. And they're showing me, what is his name? Is it Lance Armstrong, the bicycle guy, or was he the space guy? I get those two mixed up. Shadow attribute, misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends. False sense of invulnerability and entitlement. Entitlement makes me think of narcissism. So maybe there was some narcissism in like your family, or your father was that way. I'm getting Capricorn energy from the devil. Just take it how it resonates. Oh, just take it how it resonates for you, group number 2, because I'm getting like snippets, you know, I'm getting like bits and pieces. So I'm going to do my best to try and put them together, but I'm feeling like these are wounds from the past that you're going to be able to resolve and get closure on by acknowledging that those old timelines don't have to come with you. And it's like you're creating this link between this past version of you that's more healed. And then as a result, that's the chain that links everything together and gets you moving forward. Healing the inner bully where maybe you have a tendency to be self-critical or to beat yourself up for mistakes that you've made because maybe you had a parent or somebody who was really harsh with you when you were a kid. Especially if you're sensitive, like look at these two. Both of them have fairy wings. The child magical. It's like, this is such a sensitive, beautiful, sweet, ethereal energy, and if handled improperly, can cause a lot of damage. I'm getting toxicity from the devil here, like a toxic person in your environment. And this having really shaped how you interact with other people and how you feel safe with other people. It's time to take action. New moon in Aries. Isn't that today? I'm filming this on the solar eclipse. I can't remember if it's a new moon or a full moon. I think it's a new moon. Yeah, it's a new moon. It's a new moon in Aries today that I'm filming this. It'll come out after that, but that's interesting that that correlated like that. And the horns are standing out to me. The horns here and the horns on the devil's head. So it's like you might have butted heads with a lot of people. Or people wanted to butt heads with you because they saw your magic and didn't know what to do with that. So you got bullied for it. Maybe you were bullied as a kid. It doesn't have to be the father. Could have been other people. Multiple people. And I'm seeing you reclaim your magic. I'm seeing you free yourself by being able to forgive those people. Not for them, but for you. It's time to take action on that. A personal issue reaches resolution. They're showing me a quantum reality where this issue is resolved. Where you're not haunted by the past anymore. Where you're not hurting. Where you're not cycling through those old thoughts, those old patterns, those old arguments, where all of it is, it's like locked away in a box in the past on a different timeline, and you've resolved it, you've looked at them, you don't need it anymore, you can get rid of it. And then you shift to this other quantum reality and you're free. And then now they're showing me somebody riding on a bike with like a little white basket on the front, being like, la, 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 out in the sunshine, like carefree. Back in your magical child self, being able to just go have a picnic or do whatever the frick you want because you're not haunted by this inner bully, this inner repressor or oppressor of your child-like magic. So important that this toxicity is removed from your life because it was really invasive, very invasive. A new start is coming. New moon and new start, new moon. Yeah, so this is a big fresh start for you, group number 2. Be bold and make the first move. Look at that. You've got a time to take action and making the first move. So I feel like this is the time for you to move on this. Now, what does that mean? I'm curious to find out. So we're going to get some synchronicities oracles as well. This is my new deck that I'm self-publishing. It's available for pre-order. The more people pre-order it, the faster we can get the full bulk printout done. So if you guys are interested in getting it, the link's below. Black coffee, spilled black coffee. And I'm hearing clean it up. The black coffee is reminding me of it's like toxic sludge. It's not even coffee. It's like toxic sludge that's spilled in your life from these other people. Other people spilled on you, they said. Yeah, other people spilled their dirt on you, group number 2. Other people spilled their dirt on you, group number 2. That's not cool. So you got to clean this up now. And you're being given the opportunity to completely cleanse and purge this out of your life. Death is the transformation process. The white horse is the purity of being able to kind of like sponge this up and wring it away so that you can come back into your true self. This is how the issue is going to be resolved. Alchemy. This is what this is, alchemy. You're taking that toxic sludge and you're purifying it. You're cleansing it. You're filtering it, they said, filtering. Okay. Now they're showing me the oil, like the grease that you would put onto the chain links around the bike. So it's almost like you can like alchemize this sludge that someone else poured on you, metaphorically speaking, as like a grease, like an axle grease, greasing the wheel, greasing the chain so that it moves smoother. I don't know how you're going to do that. Let me get more information, but that seems very productive, right? Like if you can take something negative and turn it into something that actually works positively for you and your benefit in moving on, that is perfect. It's a win-win situation because not only are you getting rid of the thing you don't need, but you're also creating something you do. Teapot. I'm hearing I'm a little teapot, short and spout. Here is my handle. Here is my spout. That's like inner child, magical child, playful. Oh, through playfulness. Right. And filling yourself up, I'm seeing, because it's like somebody spilled their crap onto you because they didn't know how to hold it. And you had this like magical energy that can transmute anything, and they saw that. So they're like, I'm going to dump my garbage on you. But what you're doing is like you're purifying it, honing and refining that. And then you're learning to fill yourself up so that there's no room for anyone else to pour their crap in you. Because it's full, like you're already full. And that acts as like a repellent. Popping bottles. Look at all the liquids. Literally all of these cards, not all of the cards in this deck are connected to liquid. You have 4. Coffee, the science experiment, the magic potion, the teacup, and the champagne bottle and champagne glass. Like liquids are about energy because energy moves like water. It's fluid like that. And I feel like it's this fluid energy exchange that you're doing that helps to grease the wheels and put out the flame of the past, like the negative flame that was burning everything to the ground. And it's like you're putting out a forest fire within you. And then, sometimes they do controlled burns in forests to help promote growth because the ashes sink into the soil and then they act as fertilizer. So again, it's like turning something negative into a positive. This is transmutation. This is alchemy. And you're going to be celebrating this new start. I'm hearing you're going to be popping bottles, okay? So like you're literally going to be celebrating something of a win here. I'm not sure what it is yet. Hold on. You have the scarab. I heard sacred holy rites. Sacred holy rites? How is that connected? And you have the agate. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter which way it goes, but I always like it that way. Okay, they're showing me growth through time. Okay, so this one sometimes reminds me of like the way that the crystal forms is outward like that. Same thing as a tree. And we were just talking about trees with like the forest fire metaphor. So, and this makes me think of the past, like ancient Egypt. So it's like you're taking something from the past and you're growing from it and you're growing from it and you're growing from it. You're like building out layers and layers and layers of self. So that, and it's like you've done that on multiple different timelines. So there does exist a past version of you on the old timeline, like your past self, where that wound has not been, you haven't grown from that. You haven't been able to transmute that. And it's kind of like that has been lingering around. So you kind of almost have to go back in time and then come back to the future. It's like Back to the Future. I don't know. I'm getting that vibe of like Back to the Future. And you're able to heal what happened in the past by connecting to it with your present self and then change your future because of that. Waterfall. So much water. Cleansing. Energy flow. Yeah, it's like you're able to move something through you. Take the plunge, you know, it's like taking action. It's almost like a leap of faith that you're being called to take. I'm curious as to what this is. Okay, we got those 3 more. They want to be there. What is this? Group number 2. The empty martini glass. Okay. And they're showing me a fake ID, like a fake ID specifically. It's like, oh, I'm old enough to drink, but no, you're not. So it's almost like you had to grow up too fast. Maybe you tried to grow up faster than you were ready for because of some external forces that really were triggering or toxic for you. Yeah, trauma can make you grow up too fast. That's for sure. I know that firsthand. So there's a return to your innocence. Purification, again, the black feather. This is a sign from your angels, especially if you're seeing black or gray feathers, that there's a need to purify. But it can also be about protection too. Like your inner child is protected through this process. It's not going to be toxic to do this alchemy. It's going to be purifying. It's going to be healing. It can talk about death as well, the black feather. And you have the world. For some of you, I'm getting a message that you may have moved really far away from, if you had an abuser, you may have moved really far away from that abuser. If you were bullied, like say in school, you may have moved really far away from the place where that school was. It's kind of like trying to put distance between yourself and the trauma. And I'm seeing this cleansing happening. I'm seeing this deep, deep emotional soul cleansing happening. And so this multiverse version of you, all of these different versions of you exist, right? And there's the ones that are healed and there's the ones that are unhealed. So what your task now is, group number 2, is to connect, make the first move to resolve this issue. Take action on your own behalf to no longer allow this energy to exist within you. You're like sucking out the poison, you know? You got bit by a snake. You got to suck out the poison. And then I'm seeing you being able to move on, like actually move on. Maybe if you haven't moved yet, you will. You'll be able to move physically away from this person. 6 of Swords can talk about physical movement and relocation. Same thing with this card. So if you're still in the environment where this person exists, if this is a person or people, I'm seeing you being able to move on from that. And quite literally at a timeline level, you're shifting timelines. So you're no longer on the same timeline with that person. That can manifest as being physically separated from them or from the environment or whatever it was. And then I'm seeing you stepping into an adult version of you that is fully integrated. So you don't have this wounded child aspect of you that's being repressed anymore or that's been denied or bullied into hiding in the corner of your mind or in your heart. And it's instead, you're able to now fully accept who you are. And it's through this integration that you can really show up in life and connect to people in new ways and stand your ground and set healthy boundaries and walk away from people who are clearly toxic and have like a million red flags coming out left, right, and center. You know, like a walking red flag. Like you will see that and you'll be able to move away from it. You'll be able to say no, or you'll be able to deflect or, keep yourself safe. For some of you, I'm getting this random message about wanting to be a father. So this is a very specific message. I don't think it's going to be for everyone, but if you are a masculine here and you want to be a father, you can do that, and you will be a good father when you heal these potentially toxic things within you that were dumped on you from other people in your life. And I'm seeing, because what they were showing me was like a little girl sitting with her dad having a tea party. And it's like, there's this healing in that. There's this connection, and there's innocence in that. And so I'm seeing you being able to be like that with your child, or to have a relation, like if you're a feminine being, or yeah, you resonate as whatever. It's like being able to have healthy relationships in general, I think. Okay, so let's get the Astro Dice to close out your reading, group number 2. All right, we have Taurus, the Bull. We have the North Node. So this is very, very destiny oriented. The North Node is calling you out of your comfort zone to evolve. And then you have the 5th house, which is to do with childhood, play, creativity, can be to do with dating, hobbies. I think pets are even ruled by the 5th, or is that the 6th house? I get those mixed up. But there's something here about like coming back into balance with your inner child that helps you to step into your destiny. It helps you to move away from the things that are not for you and to move into the things that are for you. And I'm seeing you being so much more confident and bold and assertive in a good way. Yeah, bold. I forgot that it literally says be bold right there. So you're going to take action in ways that you wouldn't have before if you had this inner critic or this other person still in your life or people still in your life, because you're not going to have that opposition either internally or externally or both. You're going to be on your own team, and you're going to be on other people's team, and you're going to see how that's going to work for you and the collective good. So it's really a win-win for everyone. And it's through resolving this personal issue. And you're going to pop bottles and really celebrate that. So group number 2, finding closure is really the thing here. And connecting to that multiverse version of you is going to help you do it. And then you're going to level up big time. And do whatever you want. Like create, express, have a family, be that perfect version, not perfect version, be that more evolved version of you with all the wisdom that you've gained and integrated. And then working with other people to bring things forward in your life, to move things forward. All right, group number 2, that is what I see for you today. That's what I have in your reading of the multiverse. I hope that this was helpful in some way, gave you some information or some catalyst for healing or activations to assist you in doing this reintegration work of the inner child. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Again, if you guys want to order and support the print of the Synchronicities Oracle deck, it's not just the cards, it is coding in the cards. It's a message from Spirit on how to read symbolism. It's all about being able to apply this for yourself and understand the synchronicities, which is the language of Spirit. So if you're interested in supporting that work, getting that out to the collective and playing with these cards yourself, being able to work with them intuitively, the link for pre-order is in the description box below. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose or were drawn to the compass. So I do get a sense that you are navigating through these different multidimensional aspects of yourself. Like the multiverse is all of these different versions of you, these parallel realities, that every infinite potential that could exist does exist. And so I'm seeing you being given this like magic compass, this golden compass, if you will, that helps to guide you through all of these different realities, different versions of self. Your reading was also referenced in group number 1, and I can't remember what we talked about in group 1 now because I just finished doing group 2's reading, so that's all I can remember. But there may be messages for you in group 1 as well. So let's find out some additional stuff in regard to the multiverse and how to work with it. You got the 5 of Swords. Okay. I don't know why, I'm just really being drawn to this guy in the back. The one guy in the middle there. And how he's like, ugh, that sucked. I feel like there may have been disappointments. I'm getting that, like disappointments. But specifically around how other people behaved. 3 of Cups. Oh my gosh. They're showing me multiple different timelines that you're interacting with. Whoa. It's like, it almost, not a maze. Maze isn't necessarily the right word. It's not like a maze because it's not kind of like going around like that. It's more like there's like multiple of these branches and all of the branches have branches and the branches have branches. And it's like, there's really difficult timelines and then there's like really positive ones. Oh, like these, and you're like moving through them. Yeah, it's like very up and down, all over the place. I would not be surprised if you felt like a little bit off kilter because it's like you're shifting so rapidly between these different timelines. Now, I'm wondering why this is what you're doing, because like this isn't even just what the reading is going to help you do. This is what you're already doing, group number 3. That's what Spirit's showing me. You're already doing this. So you may feel like you're constantly like bouncing off the walls a little bit because you're shifting from high, low, high, low, high, low, like very rapidly. It's almost like rapid cycling bipolar or depression. Now, this is not at all a mental health diagnosis. I'm just saying, using that as kind of like a real life analogy of that. But it's not even, it's not that extreme. It's just because you're connecting to all of these different realities and the energies that each of those, it's almost like, yeah, each of those timelines has such different energies and you're having to protect yourself against some of them and continue moving. Others, you like stop and smell the roses for a minute. It's very interesting what they're showing me clairvoyantly. You've got the 3 of Wands, 7 of Wands, 3 of Wands, 4 of Cups, Temperance. Yeah, I feel like you're in this process right now, group number 3, of harmonizing. It's like you're collapsing down all of these alternate potentials. And so you kind of have to almost like go through them and do some inventory cleaning. You have to take inventory of everything that's there, and then you collapse it down into the one timeline or the one trajectory that you're going to align to. So you have to kind of like filter through or like weed through. They're showing me somebody in like an office with a bunch of files and they're going through all the files, like rapidly going through all the files. It's a little overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me, but I can only imagine how overwhelming it is for you. The Lovers. Making the decision on which timelines are aligned with you is also something that I'm seeing being challenging. You got the Devil on the bottom. Look, the Lovers and the Devil, it's the same 2 people, but in different alternate realities. If we want to look at it from the multiverse perspective. So higher reality in Eden, lower reality in hell. So, yeah. And again, it's like this very contrasting energy, very contrasting energy. It's like, yeah, I just keep wanting to say it's like bipolar. It's polarity, literally polarity. It's polarity. And you're like learning how to merge it. You're learning how to harmonize it, to balance it, to equalize it. The equalizer. Yeah. So you guys are really doing a lot of work here to shift this. We're going to go in with the Synchronicities Oracle. Eggshells. Okay. See, look at under the 5 of Swords. It's like you had to walk on eggshells around people who were really not cool. That's not cool, man. Don't be acting like that. Anchor. You're finding an anchor point. Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. I did mention something about anchoring in group number 1. I just had like a flashback, and the 4 of Pentacles, we were talking about anchoring. Okay. So yes, you're finding these higher aligned timelines, these realities, and then you're weeding through the ones that are not aligned and you're anchoring to the ones that are. This is so cool. And you're getting the ticket to the ultimate timeline is what they're showing me, the ultimate reality, this multiverse quantum reality that exists. But it's like you have to do some cleanup first. That's what this is all about. Choosing the path. Yeah, because you're going to choose the path that's right for you. It's like rapid cycling through all of these different samples to find the one that you want the most. Now they're showing me Ben and Jerry's. No, not Ben and Jerry's. What's that? Baskin Robbins. That's the one with like a million different flavors. So you go for ice cream, and they're showing me somebody like having little scoops of all of these different ice creams, and they're getting brain freeze because they're like, like eating all of these different ice creams super fast. And it's kind of painful. It's like, it's overwhelming, and it's like, this one's really good, this one's gross, and I hate that one. I want to spit it out, but I got to keep going. And then finally you like land on the one that's just right. It's giving me like Goldilocks and the Three Bears type of energy, you know? You're trying to find the one that's just right. But when you do, you anchor to it. You get the golden ticket to anchor, to align to that timeline, and you're like, off you go. Off you go. You're ready. Coming out of the cave. Oh my God, that's so cool. They showed me this guy, and this being the cave underneath. It was like he's standing right on top of this cave like that. In my mind, that's what they showed me. He like comes out of the cave, walks up on top, and goes, oh, okay, now I can see better. Now I can choose better. In the light of day, all becomes clear, is what Spirit just said. Yeah, so you're shining light on these different timelines so you can see them, and then you can choose more consciously and intentionally. So it's a lot of work, but it's helpful in that sense. The barrel. Yep. They're showing me somebody opening up the barrel and looking at what's inside. And this is reminding me, because what they're actually showing me is somebody, like a real person, opening up a barrel and looking inside and inspecting the contents and seeing if it's something they want. But it almost reminds me of, I play Elder Scrolls, so there's several games in that series, but I was playing Oblivion recently, and I was looking through all these barrels because I'm looking for I was looking for garlic, just random. But I was looking for garlic, and I was like looking through all these barrels over and over and over, opening and closing all the barrels, and it was so annoying. There was like nothing in some of them, and then there was something in others, and it's just, I think that's the vibe here, group 3. That's the vibe, is like you're just testing everything. And that's temperance. Like, I always see temperance as this experimenter in the lab testing with their test tubes and like pouring and just seeing what's going to happen. Just for posterity's sake, exploring every possible option, every nook and cranny, uncovering every rock to be able to find exactly what you want. And I'm getting like process of elimination, and you're on this hunt, you're on this very like specific journey for what you want. And I think process of elimination in this case is helping you do it. It's going to help you choose, but you also don't want to you want to make sure that you're not getting overwhelmed with all the possibility. Because like, are you going to hit on a timeline that feels aligned to you and then stick with it? Or are you going to keep searching and then end up going through like a whole bunch of other timelines that don't suit you and then getting frustrated? Yeah, I mean, I know this is kind of abstract, but I'm sure that there's physical implications of this in your life. It could show up as indecision or unwillingness to commit or settle on something, or on a particular decision, on a particular path. So I'm seeing you being able to use this in a balanced way, not getting overwhelmed with the options, but also not choosing too quickly and then getting away from what you truly desire. It's like, I think that's why the compass is so important. They just showed me the compass clairvoyantly again. It's like, that's why the compass is so important, because it points you to what you really want. It's like Jack Sparrow's compass in Pirates of the Caribbean. It points to what you want most. So you have to know what you want most. Otherwise, you're going to be scrambling around, going in all different directions with no idea what you're looking for. Yeah. Oh my God, the boat. I was just talking about, like, I even said the Black Pearl without meaning to. I meant to say Pirates of the Caribbean. So there's something about like this desire, because Jack prized his ship above everything else. And you even have the anchor here. He prized his ship above everything else. Why? Because he was the captain of it. It represented his control over himself. In a life where he had very little control over himself and circumstances, and he just like flew by the seat of his pants and tried to make everything work as best he could, and he got lucky. I'm seeing that this is about your ability to be decisive, and that being this form of control. So you want to make sure that it's balanced, and like I said, you're not going overboard with it. Pun unintended, but I just got that too. Not going overboard with it, and really looking past the point that it's really rational to do so. Because there's a bridge to the other side that's available here, and I think you're going to be able to merge the polarities. No one life, no one reality is going to be absolutely perfect. I think that's the kind of takeaway message here. I mean, we're not even like halfway into the reading yet, but I'm really getting this energy of bridging the two polarities. So it's not all good and it's not all bad. Sometimes it is just a mix of both, and that's okay. That's life. And it's your task to really bridge the gap and to burn bridges where necessary, might I add. Yeah. Because this is your path and you get to walk it however you want. I'm hearing the song, Walk It Like I Talk It. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. So you could be somebody who talks about choosing a path or how to balance things out. So I'm seeing you walking the talk in some way here by doing this harmonization. Okay, you have the red ball cap. Okay, that is so interesting. I heard strangers in the night, and then they showed me the two boats in this card. Can you see the boats, the ships there? So there's multiple references to ships, first of all, and shipping makes me think of love and romantic relationships. And the other thing that I was seeing with the two ships was this old thing that my mom used to say, like two ships passing in the night. It's like you don't know that the other one is there. So this may be about searching for the one, you know, like searching for the right person to settle down with. I did use that phrase, settle down, or like to settle on. That's not going to be for everyone, but there's something about that here. And if that's not literal, it's just the metaphor of, again, it's like choosing. And I think being able to see, because it's two ships passing in the night, they can't see each other, so they miss each other. They go right by each other. And so there's something here about being able to anchor, stay in one timeline so that there's a connection with another person, or there's something on that timeline that unfolds in a way that brings you closer to what you want. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to go in with the Moonology deck, and then we'll get the archetypes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Work through your fears. Oh, okay. Yeah, why do we walk on eggshells with people or in general? Because we're afraid. We're afraid of how they're going to react. We're afraid of being disappointed or hurt. We're afraid of, uncomfortable emotions. That's like really at the core of everything that we fear is just the emotional experience that we don't want. So I see you being able to kind of master that, working through these fears by rapid cycling through these different timelines that have all of these different emotional experiences on them. So it's kind of like a speed run a little bit here, group number 3. And it's not always something I would recommend doing, because it can be quite intense to speed run healing like that. You don't want to do that. Like usually you want to do it slowly in bite-sized pieces. Like my mom used to say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But I was always like, I don't want to eat an elephant. But there's something here about being able to do this one bit at a time, not overwhelming yourself, and staying anchored so you can work through your fears. You and your loved ones are safe. There's definitely something to do here with loved ones. They're safe, so that's good. They're safe in the timeline that you're on. If this is someone that you're looking for, I feel like this relationship or this connection will come about when you are anchored in yourself. Like when you know what you want, and it doesn't even have to be what you want in another person. It can just be what you want in general for your life, what your core values are, and being anchored in that. Because they're showing me it's like a ship without an anchor will be tossed around by the ocean. So again, the ocean representing emotions. We were talking about like highs and lows and these very kind of opposite polarities. So it's having that anchor that keeps you stable, keeps you from being swept away. What do you need to release, group number 3? What do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? Maybe sheltering yourself, maybe looking past the point of really needing to keep looking, maybe... Yeah, they're showing me this example. Again, this is not going to apply to everyone, but this is just, I think, a metaphor of, it could be literal, but there's something about, when you're on a dating app, I don't go on those anymore for good reason, and here's why, is because there's this insatiability that can come from it. Like, that there's always another person to swipe through, and it's this infiniteness that can be addicting because you're like, on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one, always looking for something better, better, better. But it's like you might be passing by the one person who is right for you because you can't settle on one, or you're addicted to the chase, or you're addicted to looking for that perfection that doesn't exist. That's the 4 of Cups energy. So it's like you don't get the ticket because you're not anchored in what really matters. You've lost sight of that on some level. But I'm seeing you balancing this out, right? So this is the whole process here. And when we're talking about multi-dimensions and multiverse, it is infinite. So it's the same thing. It's like constantly cycling through these different reality potentials. But again, you don't want to get hung up on perfection. Instead, anchor to what you truly desire, and that will just, boom, there it is. Manifest. You're very close to achieving your goal. You see that? You're very close to achieving your goal. That's why Spirit wanted to talk to you today about this message, because you're very close. You just need to release and work through some of these fears, anchor to what you truly desire, and then stand in that very firmly. Choose that. Like, you need to commit to that is kind of what I'm feeling here, group number 3. Really committing to this balance within. And you're going to be able to achieve this goal. Oh, you have the child orphan. So the light attribute is independence based on learning to go it alone and conquering fear of surviving. And look at how he's like sitting on this moon and looking at all these other planets. Again, it's like there's all of these different potentials and he's surveying them because he's learned to survive, conquering fear, working through your fears. You see the correlations again here. Shadow attribute is feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. This could be part of it as well. The orphan wound itself causes us to feel separated from ourselves, and as a result, we look externally to fill that void. But again, it's like an infinite void that can never be filled. That's why you have to determine from the inside out what is going to reverse that. And it truly is being anchored within yourself, knowing what you value, knowing why you value that, and really honoring that, because when you know that aspect of yourself, you connect with yourself. You're not a stranger to yourself. Look at the stranger hat. That's what they were saying, Stranger Things. No, but like you're able to connect to yourself. You bridge the gap, right? You bridge the gap between these different realities, these different versions of yourself, and you merge them into wholeness. That's the Temperance card. You bring balance within, and then you see that on the outside. You will see that on the outside. Oh, the Thief. You're stealing your own joy, I heard. So clearly I heard that, clairaudiently. You're stealing your own joy, group number 3. Want to buy some love, kids? Look, Jesus. Sorry. I'm such a weirdo. So you have the light attribute sheds light on the potential wealth within that can never be stolen. The shadow attribute is stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or others' power that you think you lack. So I'm really seeing this process of reintegration. It's like you're reintegrating the parts that maybe you've perceived other people stole from you. And I'm seeing you reconnecting with love again. Love for yourself, love within, love for loved ones. Yeah, the lovers, literally. So yeah. Oh, you got one that I drew. The jailbird. Okay. So this is an archetype that I created. It says the attributes, light attributes are docile, contemplative, compassionate to others' struggles, and seeks freedom. The shadow attribute feels helpless, frustration, anger at the world, aggressive, or complacent. Well, you've got the complacent energy with the Four of Cups. You've got the aggressive energy with the Five of Swords. But you also have this compassionate, contemplative energy with the Temperance card. So, and the Three of Wands. So I'm seeing, again, it's like you're balancing out the shadow and the light. Yeah. That's the duality. That's the polarity. Got to balance those out. The two cups, shadow and light, and you mix them together until you find a mix that is just right. Damsel. Okay. Don't steal your own joy, group number 3. I just keep hearing that. But the damsel card says understanding the nature of healthy romance. Lovers. Inspires you to rely on yourself. I think this is really about self-trust and self-love. But like not the foo-foo self-love of like, just take a bubble bath and do a face mask. Like no, like the hard, work through your fears. Love yourself when it's hard and painful and you feel like you suck. Like really being on your own team and treating yourself like an actual person that you love would treat you. And doing that inner work in the cave behind the scenes when nobody sees it and you get no reward from it other than the connection that you have with yourself. It is tough. It is grueling work, but it is worth it. I will tell you that firsthand. It is so worth it. The shadow attribute is waiting for a knight to provide for you. Seduction by romantic illusion. A romantic illusion. They literally showed me in my mind clairvoyantly the dating app with like the romantic illusion of finding this perfect person that's just going to ride in, whether it's your knight in shining armor and you're playing the damsel, or you're looking for this perfect damsel that is going to fill your life. It's like, no, that's not how it works. So you got to set yourself free here and realize that you had this heart the whole time. Ironic, isn't it? You had this heart the whole time. It was within you all along. Moral of the story, kids. Self-love leads to healthy relationships with other people. The bottom of the deck, you have the monk or the nun, selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. I think that's the why, right? Like that's the core values that I think a lot of the time as humans, we see symptomatically presented as codependency and addiction with the outside world and attachment to things, trying to fill that void of what we're lacking at the soul level. It's our connection to spirit, because that's our self. That's our true self. It's not even just your egoic personality and the version of you that you are right now. That's part of it. But at the more multidimensional, multiverse level, it's literally your spirit that you've become disconnected from and that you're trying to find. That's the compass. Make that the true north, and you will find what you're looking for. And it will be satisfying for the first time ever. The shadow attribute of the monk or nun is negative judgment of the physical world and excess piety. So again, we have like too much or not enough. Too much or too little. And you're trying to find the balance. And I commend you for that. Look at that. Underneath you have the knight. You literally have the damsel waiting for her knight. And then here's the knight. So I really see that there is potential here for union, whether it's union with yourself or union with another person. I mean, both, right? But you have the knight, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, and a love of honor. The shadow attribute, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle. Romantic delusions. Okay, you have romantic illusion, romantic delusions. I think that's very much the takeaway here. King energy, femme fatale. Yeah, it's pioneer. It's like you've got to make your own way here. You've got to make your own way, group number 3. And it's going to be through the realization that what you've been looking for has been inside you all along. And once you set that free, you're going to see exactly what you want. And you will align to the reality of that. You're so close to achieving your goal, group 3. Do not give up. Keep doing this inner alchemy. Keep working through those fears. Keep creating this inner safety. Alchemize all of these different polarities, all of the shadow and the light. Save yourself. And you'll have the golden ticket on this timeline of happiness, okay? You'll be free. You'll be free from the inner prison of this addiction or this illusion or this delusion. Yes. And I'm hearing healthy relationships await. Okay. You will find the one, group number 3, if that's what you've been looking for. And I think, again, you're the one. You've been the one all along. So anyways, guys, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to grab Astro Dice. Whoa. Whoa. Mercury, communication. Mercury can also be about technology, social media, dating apps. That's all ruled by Mercury. It's like technology and communication. Through technology, you have the sign of Scorpio. That's this. Yeah, see? Scorpio. Working through your fears. Working through those fears. Transmutation. This is 9. 9th house. This is to do with your beliefs, your philosophy, your connection to something bigger. Transmuting the darkness, understanding your mind, freeing yourself from the mental prison because you're able to access a deeper why as to what you're looking for. Like a deeper core value that puts you in alignment with this path that will be fulfilling for you at soul level. It's really this dedication and single-mindedness around your ability to connect to a higher purpose, a higher sense of self, a higher version of you. And through that, unlock all of these potentials in your life that you can finally feel satisfied with. All right, group number 3, that is what I have for you today. I hope that this reading was helpful. I'm sending you guys all my love. Thank you so much for being on the channel. If you guys want to order the Synchronicities Oracle deck, like I said, it is available, or did I say? I can't remember. Anyways, it's available for pre-order. The link is in the description box below this video. And it would really help if you guys are, if you're interested in getting the deck, not only will you get the deck, but pre-ordering it will help us to get the printout done as soon as possible. And then I can ship them out to you guys faster. So thank you to everyone who has pre-ordered so far. Thank you guys. I love you. And we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.